trouble. But listen when me come up on them might be a shot. So we don't back cops come and take me away. Me scared. I say me scared. A Babylon I come and want to take me away. You don't say oh me scared. Me scared. Me scared. The people them a say oh we chat too loud. They don't like to see when you gather in a crowd. They say you cause trouble. For music is a thing we on the double. Say turn up in the bassline and turn up in the treble.
Alright. Yeah, a little like this, representing Big Toe Sound, #1 in Scotland. I'm here the daughter, the original bad boy MC, Daddy Scotty, straight out of Jam Down. Selector, in the ramp, set the speed, pop, 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 pop.
A bit so feel, much of dance and make people go crazy. A bit so feel, make me rich like Beyonce and Jay-Z. When beats so I play, bass roll and Twitter must break up. When beats so select, some boy I get paid and I wake up. God be united, the Almighty God I watch over we. Yes, we united, representing beats of family. Why we united? Lico not and that is Scotty can't be divided. Papa Chop and go and set the speed. A bit so feel, mash up dance and make people go crazy. A bit so feel, make me rich like Beyonce and Jay-Z. When beats so I play, bass roll and Twitter must break up. When beats so select, some boy I get afraid and I wake up. God reunited, the Almighty God I watch over we. Yes, we united, representing beats of family. Why we united? Lico not under this Scotty can't be divided. Papa Chop and go and set the speed. A bit of feel. When beats so I play. As we set the rhythm and we set the pace. People turn up the trouble and I tune up the bass. They gonna not stand tall, me not like those screw face. When me chop a big toe, me I go mash up the place. And if they not hear the message, chop I turn up the sound. See the people them a flex and a bounce on the ground. And my father had the master, but the CJ that around. Threw me band up in a Scotland, but me bluff it jam down. A bit so feel, mash up dance and make people go crazy. A bit so feel, make me rich like Beyonce or Jay-Z. Yo.
Buenos. Are we here? Are we all in attendance? Let's see what we've got going on this morning. Here we are. My goodness me, the chat is filled. Can you all hear me? Have I forgotten to unmute myself? Oh, no, it looks like I'm there. It looks like I'm there. So if I'm there, then who's here? Morning Arpignon, sunny day in Glasgow so far. Rocky vibrations. TFI Venus Day. Hi Bonnie Prince Bob, everyone's sunny here too. Morning all. 11 windy. Rock all northwesterly. We're going to start doing the shipping forecast here, aren't we? Doreen, morning Doreen. 11, what's that, degrees? Bring on the global warming, I say. Jekyll 1980, hear ye, welcome to Bobton, Princeton Town Square. Morning, Matty Ross. Stop the world, Bonnie Prince Bob mornings have been a real game changer to my day. NGL, not gonna lie, if I can be a game changer to mine and all, pal, I can tell you. I've got to get up a bit earlier to make sure I get here for you to have, like, you know, your morning shows. stop. They were 10 a.m, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. I've been looking forward to this for the last half hour. Bob speaks about what we want to hear. And he's entertaining. Right. I better get that PayPal deposit chucked into your account there, eh? Jekyll. Before the abuse starts. Raj one. I like Raj one. It's perfect. I'm enjoying. I like the roll call of names here. Perhaps at some point over the weekend, we'll finally get to the we'll finally find out what this gremlin is in the microphone. Please, somebody, anyone, try and tell me what's going on. I've done everything. I've tried every iteration. It just does it. It just does it because it feels like it. Fecking garage phoned to wake me up at 8:30 just to tell me my MOT was due in a fecking month. Well, was it a robot that called you, or was it an actual human? Because see if it was some robot, get that hunted, eh? I like these waves and that. And what about just call me Xander? Don't tell everyone, but between me and you, no bother, Xander. And who's here? Noisy Parker is keeping it real on the X. I like Noisy Parker. Did he ken who? I didn't ken who. Maybe I do. I did ken who people are, but I like it. I like that Noisy Parker because Noisy Parker, as he says, keeps the X alive. I started off there with a wee trip down nostalgia lane. Natalie, rest in peace, one of the greatest talents that this city's ever produced. My friend, my dear friend, my brethren, you know. And that was a wee vibe that we made back in when the Meadows Festival used to be cool. That was the last time that event when we put the sound at the Meadows Festival, which was a vibe, as you can see there. We got during that event there was like a noise, there was like a complaint. And it was basically the posh folk were going, they didn't like the fact that we had all the MCs and that and all the sort of toasters on the sound. And there was some kind of like sort of slightly sort of prejudice complaint. I can't mind. I'd have to go and find out. I'd have to maybe ask Johnny Bigto what it was. But there was definitely some sort of like, what's this sort of foreign noise coming from these speakers kind of thing? You know what I mean? And if you've been to the Meadows Festival in recent years, it's like it's like strawberries and cream at Wimbledon. Like, you know, it's lost all of that vibe, you know, as everything has in Edinburgh. It's just like the snobs come in and just ruin everything. Anyway, that was a cool vibe that day, and that was Natalie Hendry. Yes, it was Natalie Hendry, the one and only. And she has sadly passed, but you know she's still with us in spirit. She's never left us in spirit, you know, and. You know, we'll do a feature on Natalie. We'll do a full talk on Natalie at some point. We can explore. I heard she had a contract with Sony, and which Natalie, yeah, I was her producer, man. It was all Natalie should have been a mega star, you know, and unfortunately, you know, she got caught in amongst some of the most heaviest stuff that you could imagine, and it was she had it tough, man. She had it tough, you know. But she was a special person, and if you were fortunate enough to be on Natalie's good side, it was a great vibe, you know. And she was a wonderful human being, you know. A lot of people had a lot of difficult experiences with Natalie, but I've only got hugely positive thoughts and things to say about her, man. She was a great person. She was my friend, man. She was my dear friend. Right, let's get on with the days. Let's find out what is happening in the realms. What have we got? We've got 23 people. That's a 25 folk early doors. I like it. She was, man. Right, okay. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to jump into this device. Happening, Bob. How are you doing today? I'm good, my Capella. I'm alright. I'm quite into the Friday vibe. It's the weekend. I was a little bit annoyed this morning, actually. just by chance, I was looking out things that I might try and pop into the show next week, and there's a video artist. I'm going to try and see if he's still in town. There's one of my favourite video artists in the world. There's a guy called Alan Resnick, right? He's totally brilliant. He's a genius. He's hilarious, right? And I hadn't looked at, you follow folk online and that, and I hadn't looked at stuff online. And then I looked at his Twitter this morning, and it was like, oh, I'm going to be in Edinburgh doing a show on the 21st of August. I was like, no, man, oh no. Like I hadn't been getting like the... So I'm going to maybe look and see if he's doing anything else or if he's still around. But I'll try and put some of his stuff up. The guy's a genius. He's a total absurdist. He made some of the most... I would play some of it, right? But it's all like long. Every piece is about 10 minutes long and they're mental. So it's like, we'll maybe set that up for a specific... maybe a specific show where I show you some of my favourite video artists. But Resnick is a total genius, you should check him out. Just thought I'd say that because it was on my mind, because I was thinking, like, what would I do this weekend? I might, if I can try and find some time to maybe catch something, because it's the last weekend of the festival, which is a bit weird, because it's like, it seems to have ended early, but apparently it hasn't, but I don't care. Anyway, right, let's get in here. Let's go in and see what's over. I've got a WhatsApp. I do want to open that. Wouldn't I want to open that on the live on air? That could be anything. That could be any manner of madness. Right, we're going into X. What have we got? 12 notifications. I meant to change the background. I think this was the same music I played the other day. Okay. We've got a couple. It's all you cats. It's everybody. It's all you folks just retweeting me on that. That's nice. If you ain't watching What the X with Barnabas Bob in the morning, then you ain't Scottish. Well, there you go. Yes, you're not Scottish. If you're not here, you're not Scottish. Look, you can be from anywhere, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be Scottish. Check this guy. What's this? This is some boy's cat. This is a pretty cool looking cat, to be honest. All the cool cats are where it's at. Okay, Ross McKenzie. I've been a bit cheeky to Ross McKenzie. Maybe I should stop being cheeky to him. Jim Slavin did an interview with him the other day. I haven't had the chance to listen to it. I was kind of a bit white to Ross, because he's one of those guys that he got elected as a member of the Labour Party, as a Labour Party selected member. But then he kind of became an independent. He kind of like left the party, and then he always went on about how the fact he's an independent. There's things he says that I agree with, and there's a lot of things he says that I'm like, mate, what are you talking about, man? He seems to be really into the whole kind of like 15-minute city thing and that, and I just have an instinctive dislike to all that stuff. I know everybody. It's almost like anybody that criticises that gets dismissed as some tinfoil hat head. But I'm like, nah. Why did the neoliberals just have to fuck with everything? It's like, why? And it's always like, it's always like the most affluent places that are always benefit from these concepts. It's never going to play out where there's no loot already, like, you know what I mean? The last weekend, that is early as I thought it was, but apparently it's not. Right. What's this boy saying? A lectern has been erected in front of the city chambers. Perhaps the announcement of the new, the Edinburgh TEC, what's that? Excuse my, what's going on here? Or maybe it's just some busker. Maybe there's going to be like busking at the city chambers. Who knows? So off Gem, there we go. So there's always a tweet. So off whatever it is, there's a cap rise. Our energy bill rises. Our energy bills are going to go up by a significant amount, and no doubt Starmer has no doubt been exposed as saying. We'll look at it in a second, but I think from what I saw, Fattest Prickus has got a show recommendation. I went to see a show called Batsu last night based on my pal's recommendation. No idea what it was about until I got there. A Japanese game show with improvised comedy. It was absolutely brilliant and I want to go again next year. We update there. We update with all right, okay. It's a recommendation. If it's still on this weekend, check out Batsu. Charles Bukowski, the greatest dancer of all time. Well, let's see what Charles Bukowski said. As a fan of Bukowski, can I see the Kennedy assassination and its attendant phenomena are big news once again. Do you favour any of the current conspiracy theories? Are you even interested? Answer. All right, that was a question to Bukowski. So the Kennedy assassination and its attendant phenomena are big news once again. Do you favour any of the current conspiracy theories? Are you even interested? Bukowski. I think you guessed it. I'm just about not interested. History, of course, makes a president big news, and the assassination of one more so. However, I see men assassinated around me every day. I walk through rooms of the dead, streets of the dead, cries of the dead, men without eyes, men without voices, men with manufactured feelings and standard reactions, men with newspaper brains, television souls and high school ideals. I loved Bukowski, man. He was brilliant. People, you know, in this sort of recent phenomena of like the sort of woke censorious kind of like, you know, like going through like every artist that ever existed and then cancelling them on account of their misogyny and stuff like that, you know. I remember like the other year there was like somebody went rage at me because I professed to liking Bukowski and she was like, oh, how that's outrageous. And I'm like, fucking hell, man, you know what I mean? He was a jaked up rage. He wrote amazing stuff, like, you know. He was exactly what he was, you know, a drunken barfly fucking mentalist, you know. But he was great, and that's a great thing. Talking of JFK assassination, my mate, I've got this. My mate of mine made a computer game in the 90s. That got him basically the FBI and that went rage at him, and he made a game called JFK Reloaded, where basically you had to shoot JFK, but you had to basically determine whether or not it was Lee Harvey Oswald that had killed the president, and you had to go through. It was, to be honest, it was inspired. It was a brilliant piece of work, and you can look it up. JFK Reloaded. He's done a bunch of interviews and stuff about it in the past, but it's a brilliant concept, and he got himself in loads of jip with the US sort of authorities over it. Like, you know, they didn't take kindly to it, like, you know, but it became like a hit. I think they offered a prize as well. There was some sort of prize with it, like if you could prove. It was to do with like the trajectory and stuff like that. It was all a bit mental. I went to, I don't know what you're saying there, Brie Chambu and Aidan O'Rourke at the Fringe last Wednesday. Excellent. But they're not back in Scotland till September. I'd buy JFK Reloaded, definitely. I don't know if you can, maybe you'll get it. He's maybe got it as an app or something, you can get it, but definitely a pretty mental thing. Anyway, we digress, but that's part of the charm of What the X, isn't it? Sort of perpetual digression. We might eventually end up back where we intended to start, or we might not. Who knows? Who even cares, right? Who cares? See, people are it's like how it's like loads of people have retweeted I demand that Angus Robertson resign. And I demand that Angus Robertson resign. But what I was hoping for is that other people might join in that demand as well. So far, it's just like, you know, how many people, you know, like, so 3.3 thousand views, 57 reposts. Okay, great. It's like, yeah, I demand, but like, other people should demand as well. You know what I mean? It's like, but in all seriousness, Angus Robertson should resign. Angus Robertson should go away now. You've made an arse of it. You're idiots. Get to. Okay. Anyway, it's Friday. Let's try and not get too wrapped up in Angus this morning. let's slide down here a bit longer, see what else we've got going on. Dr. Lynn Tammy Connolly. I had horrendous, and the reason I read out Dr. Lynn Tammy Connolly is because it's a very interesting lady who I did a little bit of work for. I was able to help her with a wee project. I think it was the start of this year. But she opened my eyes up to something mental that I had no previous knowledge of. And so it was Dr. Lynn. She's not well. I was taken to Nine Wells. They left home. I think I feel worse for having the pain itself still. Well, I hope she gets better. I've never met her in person, but she sent me the stuff. So what had happened was, what were they called again? They're called quarriers. Okay, it's called quarriers. And quarriers were like a bunch of, it was like a children's, I wonder if our thing is here. Basically, right, and up, it's absolutely mental, right? From like, I think it was like the 1920s or something, up until literally the 1970s, the early 1970s, children in care homes in Scotland were basically exported on bulk to become sort of almost like indentured servants in Canada and in Australia as well. But it was like a crazy thing, and Lynn's family were tinkers, right? And it was called, her whole project was called the Tinker Experiments, right? And the children, the men were out at work, right? And these kind of, you know, like children's home type people, whatever, came and took the children away from the mothers, from the roadside tinker type folk, like the traveller folk, right? Took them to the children's home place and had them kind of like signed into the home, and they wouldn't give the children back to the family. Like, nah, you're not getting your bairns back, basically. And then those kids were eventually basically exported to Canada, where they became into this sort of like rather grim kind of like, you know, housing station where they all first went and everything before they got put off to different families, where inevitably they were subject to all kinds of abuses. And they were actually referred to in Canada as Scotland's little slaves. It's absolutely mental, right? And it was basically an industry, and they were paid like the people, like the children's home people, whatever. For every kid that they sent over, they got like a few quid for it. So it was just basically an industry of getting, you know, it just stands to reason. It was like, right, the more bairns we get, the more money we can make. It was really sinister. I mean, it's crazy sinister. And I had like other people knew about it. Katrina Grant, when I was talking to Katrina Grant about it, she had a lot of knowledge about it. But Quarriers Homes, that's right, Doreen, Quarriers Homes. And Quarriers is now, it's still an established sort of children's charity. I think, you know, it's cleaned up its act and everything now, you know, but it's got a really dark history. And anyway, Lynn had gone away there. She'd managed to raise some money to go and do a kind of project where she went and located the burial site of where her family members had eventually been buried and stuff. And there was no like gravestone or any kind of remnants. So she was kind of like campaigning to kind of get these people recognised and force an apology. I think they did. I think the Scottish government got an apology out of Quarriers. But man, it's a crazy tale. It's a crazy tale. I was working on the thing for Lynn, and she'd sent some photos and stuff, and then I did a wee bit of research myself, and it was mental. So a lesser known, darker reality of Scottish history there. See, these digressions are mental. We've gone from raised energy prices to orphans for sale, like, you know, in the space of about 5 minutes. What else of madness do we have? Some Celtic football chat. A week of the transfer window left could be a legendary level of footballing mismanagement to discuss next week. I don't care about Celtic. I don't care about Rangers, and I don't care about Celtic. In the words of in the words of Amadou Conte, yeah, it's a total wow. It was made into a documentary. Lynn made a wee thing, like a small piece about it. You'll maybe find it on our page. Maybe you'll find it here. We'll go back a wee minute, okay? Where was Lynn's thing? I think is it I Right? Let's have a look here. It's no. What's going on there? How's that not working? It cannot load this page. Dinna ken. It's not working. Dinna ken what's going on with it. But if you follow in, I'll try and find the thing for you. I kind of like these nostalgia accounts. It's like that's what school was like, wasn't it? BBC Micros and Amstrads and all the rest of it. Like, you know, there was like one computer for the whole class, you know, and the whole class would gather around the computer, and it was like, oh, you know what I mean? It was cool, man. It's mental, you know. Owen Jones, what's Owen saying? Energy bills are being hiked by 10%, and Labour is taking winter fuel payments from 800,000 pensioners in poverty. That's as well as huge numbers of struggling pensioners just above the poverty line, as well as the kids in poverty because of the two-child limit Labour is keeping. Well, why did you go against Corbyn then? Why were you so keen to denigrate Corbyn? He denies that he did that. Jones acts like he never went against Corbyn, but he did. We all remember it. And whatever Corbyn's faults, which, you know, or just lack of fortitude or whatever, you know what I mean, or guile or steel, you know, he had the right idea. They were principled. It was the last gasp breath of social democracy, wasn't it, before it got crushed by the neoliberal chaos. This is AI. This is the madness of AI. I did see an AI, but you know, yesterday when I was talking about McKenna and language and words and stuff and the evolution of language, it was actually because of the AI stuff. I'll try and find the This guy's saying we should move Wimbledon to Edinburgh because people from the Central Belt can't afford the high cost of travel and accommodation in London at that time of year. This logic is flawless. These are people that are responding to a thing about a guy that was saying about the TV festival shouldn't really be in Edinburgh because it's too prohibitive and expensive for people in the TV industry to attend it. But I actually agree with the guy. On a number of what the guy said was reasonable, and then all the exceptionalists and all the sort of Scottish people, like, you know, the people that just can't see any logic, and immediately anything that gets said that can be construed as anti-Scottish, they immediately accuse somebody of, like, you know, doing Scotland down and all the rest of it. But that's not what he was actually saying, and what his actual point was perfectly reasonable in my opinion. The TV festival in Edinburgh. Maybe it is kind of pointless being in Edinburgh. It's definitely had the most interesting things over the last few years. It's the only thing during the festival that I've personally thought, oh, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see that, and it's far too expensive. It's like I've never been able to go, even to participate with it online. It's really expensive, and the events themselves are expensive. And the boy was basically going, like a lot of people in the TV industry, they just can't afford to go to this event. It's far too expensive. It's expensive anyway, and the fact that it's in Edinburgh during the festival, where like everything's just outrageously expensive, it just seems very exclusive and exclusionary. And that was his point. And he made this point. He said it should be in the Midlands or somewhere so that it's made easy for people like to actually get. And it's what he's saying is true as well, because ultimately, this is the capital. I'm just going to keep saying this forever, right? This is the capital city of Scotland, and we have no broadcasting. It's embarrassing. It's a total embarrassment. We are a joke country, right? And you know, and then people are defending it. It's like it's a load of nonsense. And never mind that the vast majority of television produced in Scotland is shite. It's not shite. Shite would be good compared to what they actually fucking make. Let's try and keep it calm. There was a Quarriers and a Bridge of Weir. Aye, Skye. It still had issues around the care standards of the children in the late 70s. Haha, I remember the days of the BBC Micro always on a trolley. Aye, totally, that's exactly what it was like. 15-minute cities are, hold on, what we've got here. 15-minute cities are about control, a disgusting idea. Yeah, and isn't it funny that the people that are the most enthusiastic advocates for them are all these kind of bourgeois liberals who, you know, these faux socialist types and that, the ones that are the, you know, that want the recent rioters to be imprisoned for life, and all the rest of it, you know, the active travel zealots who have all got electric cars and crampons in their boot, you know. We had one BBC Micro for our whole school, so did we, that was it, and it went round, it was like every classroom would get it for like a week or something, and it'd be like a big deal, oh yes, we're getting the computer this week, like, you know what I mean, and it would just be like, you know, even you'd be like awake at night, like couldn't wait to get in the morning and go and like look at the computer, you know. It was like that was the sort of charm in this sort of nascent stage of like home computing, you know. It was just this world of possibility, you know what I mean. It was like, look at the computer, you know. Run, program, return, right? You know, we should go back to that. Like, fuck all this hyper fucking connected pish, like, you know. We should go back to Morse code. Oh, this guy got trans. There's a genocide going on. The heating bills are going up. You know what I mean? Nobody can afford butter. And this guy can go on about is like, oh, look, somewhere in Idaho, there's a fucking some guy in a dress that's upset somebody or something. You know what I mean? It's like turn it in, man. You know what I mean? It says so much about anybody that's like perpetually obsessing about this issue, and you know they always post pictures. They're always like, look at this guy in a dress, look at this woman with a beard, look at this, look. It's like, where's your other hand? Like, you know what I mean? Just like fucking cracking one off. You know, it's like it's obvious. Like it's you're thou protesteth too much. Like, you know, it's like I've often said it. Like Sigmund Freud would have these cats clocked before they got through the garden gate. Like you'd just be like, right, do you want to talk about your libidinal urges because they're pouring out of your pores right now, like, you know. The ragged trousered philanthropist, what's he saying? I was hit by a cyclist on a Leith pedestrian crossing this. Hold on, let's see if we can see. I was hit by a cyclist on a Leith pedestrian crossing this morning. The guy came up the inside of a bus and ploughed into me. I spotted him just in time and took the impact with my left shoulder. The guy wasn't so lucky. If he wasn't so badly injured, I'd have given him a hiding. Right, how much truth is in that story? Badly injured, like, let's see what happened to him. It's like how much there's kids trying to get to school at that time in the morning. If he'd hit a kid, he'd have wiped him out. There's a massive problem with cyclists in Leith right now, particularly e-bikes. They're ripping around on the pavements at 40 miles per hour. Surprised nobody's been killed yet. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, you know. I do like the idea that I've actually met that guy, and he is quite a big guy, and cycling into him probably would be a fucking bad idea. Like, it's like it probably would be like, you know, hitting an immovable object. But he's right, you know. I never wanted to be one of these like fist shaking bah humbug types, but some of the e-scooter bike vibes in that is they are pretty crazy. It's like, yo, calm down, man. Whoa there, buddy. Anyway, he seems to have taken out a cyclist, which will please, no doubt, some people more than others, or as I would, you know, maybe refer to them as, although people get upset with it now, but you know, the pedal file. Who have we got here? These idiots don't realise they've been totally controlled into their thinking. And the ones above have controlled them into a corner of fighting against their own behalf. Okay, there's a somewhat convoluted logic going on there, but I'm kind of with you. Okay, Bob, good morning. Alan Cofanity, always lovely to see your name pop up there, bro. I hope you're well today. Great to see you. Okay, so we've had a cycling injury incident already this morning in Leith. There we go. There's more just, those were the days, my friend. John Cusack, call it straight. She's like, Kamala Harris. Kamala talks about Hamas alleged sexual violence on October the 7th, for which no hard evidence has been presented. But she doesn't mention the documented rape of Palestinian detainees. At this point, and John Cusack says, call it straight, she lied, because obviously she lied. This kind of projected idea onto Kamala, like she's some sort of like, you know, the second coming. It's quite embarrassing for the Liberals that are prepared to do that, you know, such as their sort of panic about Trump. The corruption of our polity, and American polity as well, is it's self-evident. Hold on, I'm going to reply to a text. No, I don't know what that means. The bankruptcy of all polity, but especially in the sort of two-horse race of American politics. I was very tuned into American politics for a long time, massively. But in recent years, I've become a bit detached from it. So I'm going to start paying a bit more attention to it as we head towards this next US election. But really, it's like it's now a question of like the lesser of the Zionists, you know what I mean? It's basically just two sections of Zionists. But this is an important point that John Cusack has made. And another thing to mention about John Cusack has, well, he was always a good actor, right? We can all agree that John Cusack was always an actor worthy of respect. John Cusack's respect, for me, John Cusack's position as a human being has elevated massively beyond all comprehension. I never expected that the guy who would totally and utterly put his humanity before his career. I never knew why not. I don't know nothing about the guy, but John Cusack is the man that has done that. He's taken up the most principled position on this horror, this genocide, as a prominent figure in culture and entertainment. And he deserves so much respect for that. You know, he's relentlessly, he's consistently, he's held his line, and he's completely done his best to expose continually the horrors, the corruption, the terror, really, you know. And this situation, for example, what we're seeing, what we're getting exposed about now, the complexities of another country and another region, and that, yes, deep. And when it becomes sort of like questions of theocratic conflicts and stuff, you know, it's like our own interpretation is always going to be somewhat, you know, central cultural to where we are. We're never going to be particularly able to have an absolute clear idea of what's going on, but most people don't want to see innocent people being murdered to this extent, to any extent. Let's be frank about that. But this recent situation where you had the rapists, they took this prisoner, this Palestinian prisoner. It's documented. It's on CCTV, and then they all raped this guy. And then in the parliament, you know, This is the funny contradiction, right? Let's just get it down to the nub of these ideological hypocrisies that just run through the especially the right wing, you know, that form the spine of the right wing. They like to create all this stuff about Islam as this, you know, corrupted theocratic ideology that permits all these kind of horrific indiscretions and human activities and all the rest of it. We just had the Zionist parliament debate whether it was acceptable or not, whether it was okay or not to rape prisoners. And I think they more or less concluded that it's okay to rape Palestinian prisoners. And then the local people, they broke the prisoners out. They broke the guys who had been arrested for the rape, and those guys are now sort of have been turned into heroes. This is the perversion of Zionism. We literally have a complicit government at a UK level and a supine government at a Scottish domestic level towards a Zionist administration who have said it's okay to rape prisoners. Does anybody, would anybody, the situation in Gaza isn't complex? No, it's not complex on a obvious level in terms of what's occurring and what's occurred historically towards the Palestinian people. I accept that it's not complex in that to that extent. What is complex is how you actually interpret the cultural differences. If you actually live there, if you're part of Israel as a society, or if you're part of Palestine or Gaza as a society, you know, let's not deify these cultures as both having sort of like, you know, supreme virtues in both respects. You know, life is complex and there's complexities as to how things are. But no, I accept, and fundamentally, no, it's not complex. There's an oppressor and a subjugated people, and there's a resistance to that. And you know, if you're a socialist or, you know, you're anti-colonialist or anti-imperialist, you know, however unsavoury these factors are, you're going to be philosophically, ideologically aligned with the resistance. It would only seem so, you know, pacifists or otherwise. You know, I don't think there's much call for just sort of benign pacifism at this stage now. You know, you're watching a people being eradicated. People out with going on like Zionism doesn't exist is what's definitely complex, yeah. But we must also be very, very keen to delineate between Zionism and Judaism, and you know, anti-Semitism is wrong, deeply, deeply wrong and dangerous as well. You know, we can't just, you know, you can't deny that we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism because people don't make that distinction. But you can definitely argue that the people most responsible for provoking anti-Semitism are the Zionists. You know, if they weren't engaged in this horror and perpetuating this terror, we wouldn't see that. You know, we can't legislate for ignorance. You know, it's endemic. What have we got going on here? Pete Burnett, nice to see Pete Burnett's face pop up here on the old What the X. I diligently follow the Leith Walk cycleways up and down all the time, and it is a death trap. Even trying to do it, there's a total truth in this, right? Let's get onto this in a second, right? Properly, nobody knows who has right of way or where a bicycle might come from at any second. I hate it as much as you hate Leo Kers. Free Palestine, etc. Yes, free Palestine. The remodelling and neoliberal terraforming of Leith Walk is another civic crime by civic vandals, and there's no two ways about it. Yeah, what they have done, the Leith Walk cycleway, the money that's been poured into this, and the apologists for it, they should have resigned. They should have resigned long before Robertson and that should have resigned. They have made such an astronomical mess of Leith Walk, And it's true. And the next thing that's going to happen is the litigation claims are going to start coming in, because people are, and for all my kind of chiding of the ragged trouser dude and that, he's dead right. I've been there, I've seen it with my own eyes. And they want to encourage more bicycles and stuff. At the minute, we've got like a sort of relatively low number of cyclists, but it's true. And you know, that's that thing as well, especially the sort of bourgeois, sort of active travel cats, because it happened to my dad, right? A guy knocked my dad down. My dad's like in his 80s, and a cyclist. I tweeted about it a few months ago. It was like maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. And my dad was walking down a pathway thing, and a cyclist knocked into him and knocked my dad over. And rather than stopping to check if he was all right, you know, my dad's in his 80s. He was like, as he cycled away, he sort of pompously shouted, "Psychopath!" But it wasn't a psychopath. It's not even a psychopath. It's a footpath. It is actually 100% a footpath, right? And you get this whole vibe with them, right? And they definitely are a certain type. There's a certain type of pedophile that is a self-entitled, arrogant, snobby prick. And they all have got all the lycra and that, and they do all this stuff, and they've got their bikes are worth about 10 grand each. And they definitely are. There's definitely a set of cats like this that are like that. It's just like Colin Cross cyclist ran over a smash shed window in Newington coming out. Yeah. I'm getting slagged for my obsession with the incidental instances of local news. Cyclists aren't insured, so how do you litigate? Can you not sue the council though? Can you not sue the council? That's Katrina Grant saying. Listen, I might be getting slagged for the local banter, the local chat, hyper local news, but I'm getting more reaction from it than I do about other stuff. Like, you know, never, like, you know, never mind the genocide. Let's go on about what's going on. The cycle side, you know. I hate the lycra cad pelotons. Yeah, me too. Definitely pedophiles, and I'll be stealing that one, Bob. Thank you. Hope your dad was okay. Aye, he's all right. He was all right, but he was annoyed, like, and I was annoyed on his behalf. I can't see what that says there. The CSD parade in this town stops abruptly where the barber shops and kiosks begin. What's that, Ian Guthrie? What's CND or CSD? I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. There was also that whole thing with the naked cyclists. Do you remember that? The naked bicycle cyclist people. That was insane. What's this? How have we got here? Right, I'll start a mix here. I'll see how this gets on with Max's mix. We get loads through Musselburgh. Do you remember that? But do you remember that? Do you remember the naked cycle ride? And they always sort of like, you know, they're having a crackdown on the fireworks and stuff that are going to, you know, they don't want any of the young team using fireworks, and they're getting more and more kind of punitive about any expression of kind of, you know, just fucking like, you know, scheme behaviour or whatever, and it's like, or the naughty north. But they're totally all like, oh yeah, it's great, let's all let's all cycle about the town butt naked and that, and that's totally fine, eh? Absolute weirdos, man. Total and utter weirdos. Somebody find the picture of the naked cycle ride through Edinburgh the other week there. I did post it myself actually, but so you just can find it. It was totally nonsense. Thanks for flagging this up, Dorian. I'll just look at that in a second. I was immediately irritated by seeing that. Yeah. What's going on here? The Labour Party. The Labour Party is riven with Zionists and Zio-sucking scumbags. Better to focus on one closer to home, one who's involved with MI5, one who's an Englishman. I'm an Englishman in the SNP. Oh, Angus Robertson, oh, Angus Robertson, an Englishman in the SNP, but he's not actually an Englishman, but he might as well be an Englishman, eh? But let's see what Doreen was flagging up there. Okay, so Lisa Nandy. Has Lisa Nandy got a cabinet position? Yeah, Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport. And just a horrible opportunist, another horrible neoliberal Labourite opportunist. A reprehensible person, as they all are. But what they start doing, and Sarwar as well, he's culpable of it as well with his whole Scotland, the brand stuff of late and that, you know. Noisy Parker. This is more than Edinburgh though. Even on our canal towbath, the pedophiles are. The pedophiles are a menace. Yeah, they are a menace on the canal as well. Where would the Katrina? Why? Katrina, stop this devil's advocate stuff for the state. It's making me feel uncomfortable. Where would the liability be? We should just sue the council for being annoying. Fair play. We'd win hands down. We'd have loads of witnesses. Nah, she's rescued it there. I'm getting it now. So there should be a competition. So there should be a competition between the fireworks advocates, which I'm one of. I love fireworks, right? I'm a big fan of fireworks. When I was a kid, I used to save up, and you could get hooky fireworks. I would always buy like the most raddest, biggest firework, you know. And I once bought a rocket. You know, it was like this, a huge head on it, like, you know, like I don't know, like twice the size of a 2-litre juice bottle, like, you know, on a massive pole, you know. And we took it and we set it off, right, and it was like, you know, it was like, I thought it was going to go to the fucking moon, right, and it went right up straight fast, and then it just arced like that. It went, and it just went. There was this big house, and it went right into a greenhouse, and just. I loved fireworks. I love fireworks, but this person's saying compete. Hold on a second. What is it? It's saying compete. They should a compromise. They should allow both events at the same time, so the young team can fire their fireworks at the pedophiles. It's like I'm seeing a whole new sport emerging here that I could get into, and I'm sure a lot of us could. A lot of us could get into that. Let's just see what else we've got here. Hold on a moment. I'm getting inundated with messages here. I'm getting inundated. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Let me just. Is this? Okay, hold on a second. Let me save this image. I'm going to save this image as wrong-uns. Because that's what they are. Let's just have a look at this for a second. This wasn't even the... Oh, where's my... Okay, this is one... Where can I put it? Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. It was the castle fireworks, he said. Too many messages at once. Let me just have a look here. I'm still here. Freak. Perfect track for them, right? Okay, let's have a look at them. Here we go, hold on a minute. Where are we? This is where we need a producer. Hold up. Right. Right. Look at them. What's that all about? Why do they think that that's totally cool? we can more or less agree, right? That's a bit mental, right? They seem to think that this is all right. Is it all right, or is it weird? That's too bad, freak.
Freak. That's too bad, freak. Freak. That's too bad, freak. Freak. That's too bad, freak. Freak.
Well, there you go. Anyway, I'm back. What's Lisa Nandy saying? Lisa Nandy, who's never had anything to say, a Ned going and nicking their seats beforehand would have been funny as for this. Now there's an image. So they probably would have liked it, these fucking weirdos, like, you know. The City Council busy's vendetta against Niddrie Fireworks stems from their container getting tanned at Peffer Mill from a Nidron in a van. It was the Castle Fireworks. I didn't care. There seems to be. I've got a hotline to some local, some real local news hotline coming in here. News as it happens. It's quite good though that this is a sort of parlance and vernacular that's alien to large sections of Scotland. So I'm happy to sort of bring it to us. Okay, Doreen. A face-off went to, yes, I actually did see this. This was in, was it Brighton or somewhere? It was like some guy. I saw this and I'll play it, and it was like, it was a naked bike ride down south where, like, you know, they went past, and I think it was a bunch of sort of traveller folk that were having It is quite funny. We'll just watch this altercation here. So the boy, they're chucking their drinks on him and that, and they're like, "What are you doing? Like you're wrong uns, like, you know what I mean?" And then they're all basically like, and this guy, I mean, it's like, I don't have much sympathy with him. They boot him about, like, you know, and he's starkers, you know, he's not got a stitch on. He gets his phone out in an attempt to kind of, this is the irony, he thinks that if he films the vagrants, they'll get sent down. And they'll get sent down for attacking him. But it's like, mate, you're the guy cycling about without a stitch on, where there's kids and everything, like, you know. It's like, you know. I mean, you can kind of understand, like, what do you expect, you know? A face-off went down against the naked bike ride crowd. I don't know, like, you do sort of by the end of this, you're kind of willing them to like just get away, mate, like, you know, like. But I did find it mental when I saw that the first time that you know that the first thought he has is he's not got any pants on or anything, but he does have like a wee knapsack thing with his phone in it, and his instinct is to reach for his phone to capture the assailants so that he can no doubt have the press charges. It's like, mate, I mean, that for me is a great insight into the psychology of the bourgeois liberal, you know. Completely and utterly, you know, entitled, so profoundly entitled, you know, that he thinks he's completely within his rights to cycle around without anything on, exposing himself. And then when he meets some opposition to it, you know, it's him that's in the right, you know. More comments. Where's me washboard? Hold on. Let's have a look here. Where is it? I've lost my... Get him on the register. Kid's seat on the back of the bike too. Big time. Totally. You know, it was years and years ago, when I first saw this. We're talking maybe like 15, 16 years ago I first saw this. And I was kind of mentalised when I saw it the first time. I'd come down Lothian Road, I'd been driving down Lothian Road. And in front of me was a guy with on his bike, and then he had like a wee, and this was years ago, and he had like a wee cart thing at the back, and then in the cart was his kid, his toddler, and you know, and it's at like ground level next to all the exhausts and everything, right? And you can't really see, right? So he's got his toddler, and then there's like a flag thing, like up from the little, it's like a little, I don't know what it is, like some wee buggy thing attached to the bike, right? And you know, there's like XR2 eyes and that, like dotting about and everything, and there's like, and you're kind of, and I just remember thinking it at the time. I'm like, you folk are mental. You take the most important, precious thing in your entire existence, you know, the thing that you dote on, that represents, you know, that you probably want to have this kid in private school and everything, like, you know what I mean? And such is your sense of entitlement, and so, oh, this is what we should be. I'm green and all the rest of it, whatever. You've put your bairn in like a sort of tiny wee buggy thing on the back of a bike and taking it in the sort of daytime traffic round the town. I mean, these folk are clearly mental. Absolutely mental, right? Driving a car is right wing now, yeah, totally. Those carts they put their kids in are insane. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Like, what is up with these folk? Like, you know, and then they would. I can't even be bothered thinking about how mental it is. Like, you know, record for showing the world his bumhole. Yeah, record for showing the world his bumhole. Shadow snifflers. We're on one today. It is Friday after all, I suppose, for whatever that's worth. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a short break. Pete Carson is a mate of mine, and I went with Pete when the G8 was on, where all these people would have probably been going to sort of for their ethical consumption. It's a special kind of middle class wank who thinks that it's acceptable. Yeah, it's true. We went to the what was it, COP26 when Greta Thunberg came to Glasgow, and I went through with Pete Carson. Now Pete has a show. Pete's a local comedian guy, and he's a right funny guy. He's a good guy, and we went through and we made this little segment at the time. So I think this was like a year or two ago, and so this was the wee clip that I made with Pete. It's about 5 minutes long or so, and I'm going to play this just now because I need to take a quick break. So I'll leave you with Carson with this little clip, or Nick Carbon, as he was referring to himself as. So I shall return shortly.
There, we're in Glasgow. I'm Nick Corbin here on behalf of Discontent for COP26, trying to get a shot of Greta Thunberg, a popular eco-warrior. She's going to be leading an army of 10,000 young, angry teenagers. Let's go speak to these people over here.
So this is the Coat of Hopes, and it's walked here from New Haven on the south coast of England. All these patches made on pieces of blanket have been embellished with people's griefs, remembrances, prayers and hopes for their local landscape in the face of climate breakdown. The coat has a song which we sing when people put it on. Would you like to put the coat on?
Yeah, sure, I would love to put the coat on. Sorry. Oh.
The compass of the northward.
I'm wearing the Coat of Hopes. I hope that's been hand-woven by hundreds and thousands of people, hundreds of people who have hand-woven this coat, declaring that to the world leaders that they're all bastards.
The coat has a song which I'll sing to you now.
Okay.
Ask me where I'm going. Ask me what is my purpose. Ask me what my name is. They call me the Coat of Hope. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like. Here we are on the M8. Gonna have to be driving back along there at some point. I mean, that's just the way the Glasgow's laid out. Big motorways going through the town. What happened to Scottish Labour? Why does nobody vote for Scottish Labour anymore? I think these are Indigenous people from Canada or something. And been to Canada, very nice place. Very good tobacco.
Everyone here is amazing. We're more important than anyone in the blue zone.
What do you think of NFTs?
Of NFTs?
Yeah.
Wait, the art?
Non-fungible tokens.
I mean, they have a massive carbon impact, right?
You think they're bad?
Well, I mean, if they have a massive carbon impact, yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
here we are, part of the march now. I shouldn't have done that edible on the train.
Yes. Another world is possible. Another world is possible. Another world is possible.
Evolution! Evolution! To be the more annoying of the protests is the key in this overall thing. The more annoying you are, the more people are going to pay attention to you. And these guys, incredibly annoying, incredibly friendly. I really like them. Their whole shtick of being really annoying but really friendly makes me feel like they're going to win. Do you think poetry can solve climate change?
I don't know if solve, but definitely works.
Do you have a short poem you could say to me?
Looking very close, I see very far. Touching a heart, speaking my truth when I can.
That's great. Is that a haiku? Hey, we could have a haiku in our hands. Climate change. Can you tell me what this song is?
No idea.
It's fucking banging.
It is banging. It is absolutely fun.
It's making me actually care about COP26.
Do I care? Of course.
No, it's making me care.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Fucking,
Yeah.
it's a fucking banger. Hey man, how's it going?
Fuck Boris Johnson! Fuck Boris Johnson! Fuck Mojo!
Mojo! Vive la révolution!
Fuck Mojo!
Vive la révolution!
You love to hear it.
Oh, Florida! Fuck Boris Johnson!
You heard it from here first.
You know it's bad when Glasgow's melting. Are you melting right now?
I'm good actually.
All right. I'm fucking fleeing. I mean, look at that guy rolling up a hill when he should be rolling down the hill at top speed, crushing everyone in his path.
What my name is, they call me the coat of hope.
Well, that's fantastic.
What is it that I'm taking?
Can we find
for
the
the
song
ones
on
who will be
Spotify?
smart?
The bastards have kettled us in. I mean, we don't have streets this wide in Edinburgh. They didn't listen to me when I wanted streets in Edinburgh that were going to be this big. They were like, we can't move the buildings far enough. Glasgow, we'll just fucking steamroll everything and we'll make a bigger road and there'll be more cars, we'll all have fun. And we'll have a motorway that doesn't take fucking an hour and a half to get to. And, you know, people do complain about the fact they destroyed half the city to put a motorway in. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I wish they would destroy half of Edinburgh as well. But that's just me. That's just me.
There he was, Pete Carbon or Nick Carson, more to the point. Let me just... he's some boy. He's a good guy, and he's got a show on actually. Love the Coat of Hope song, and it's many verses. Yes, an oldie but a goodie for sure. Let's just see where Pete. Let's see where Pete is playing. Where is Pete playing? I'm not going to lie, right? I went to Palantini. I went to Palantini this morning. And on Easter Road, and I got a coffee. In fact, I think I put it. Is it on? Is it on? I'll check if it's on my story. There's Pete there. Merry Christmas, Mr. Carson. 8:30, August the 2nd to the 26th. So how long is that? He's got 3 more. What has he got? 3 more nights. That's tonight until the 26th at Hoots. Home Street, venue 110, 8:30 at night. A good laugh and a great time. There he is. Pete's a great guy. He's very funny, and he's a great editor. He's a great video editor. He's another video artist, really, you know. He's a very amusing video artist. And let me just... so if you get the chance, maybe you could go and see Pete if you find the time. We want you wearing the Coat of Hope next week. Well, imagine what it must smell like. I think I remember I actually smelt it at the time. Have I got my? Aye, look here. It's done it. There we go. Right. This was my morning travels. Right. Hold on a wee second. I'll give you my morning travels. See why? Why is it like? Why does it do this to me? It's like why? Why? You don't know what I'm saying why about, but I'll do it. Okay. This was my morning travels. Is that no? Here we go. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this bridge, and they didn't need to take away Brad's murals from this bridge. This was an act of cultural vandalism.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have...
This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, right? And that's what I was scanning when you were watching the Coat of Hope. Anyway, there we go. Back to X momentarily. Before I leave you all for the day, what has everyone got planned for today or the weekend? Feel free to let me know. Feel free to let me know. We've had quite a large amount of viewers on X this morning, 110 at the minute, 110 of which pretty much all yous are lurkers, like, you know. So many lurkers just watch, what's he doing, what am I doing, eh? And who are you? Who are any of yous? And we've got 28 on live here now, but we've been picking up the numbers. Right, we're heading to the home stretch. It's 11:15. We've run a little bit longer than I intended to this morning. Let's just do the Lisa Nandy thing. Let's do it. Right, Lisa, oh, for goodness sake, what's going on? Right. So Lisa Nandy wrote an article in The Scotsman. Here is why we must harness the spirit of the Edinburgh Festivals. Well, the spirit of the Edinburgh Festivals has been completely and utterly crushed and commandeered by capitalists, increasingly so over the last 10 to 15 years, the last decade especially. And the whole vibe and spirit and what made... I mean, I was speaking to a director friend of mine yesterday, I was on the phone for an hour or so, we were talking at length. And... you know, people think I'm against the festival and stuff. I'm not against the festival. I loved the festival. I loved growing up with the Fringe and the festival. And it pains me, it saddens me to see what's been done to it by commercial interests and greedy bastards, basically, for want of a better term. And they've taken... It used to be so spread out across the town. It used to be anarchic. It was sporadic. There was all kinds of things. I made a tweet yesterday about the fact that this allocating street performers into designated places and spots, it's just another neutering and ironing out of all of the vibe that it had. And so this idea, and then this Lisa Nandy, like, what does she know about Edinburgh or the Edinburgh Festivals, you know? The Edinburgh Festivals epitomise the self-confident open country that lies beneath the surface. Our government is determined that it will be held again. What are they talking about? We've just talked about all the arts cuts as well, and obviously all the middle classes are having a meltdown about that. Listen to the pensioners, since you have cut their winter fuel payments. You are a big bunch of liars as the Tories, yes. I don't know what's... Johnny the Pict, sorry, but this is just a load of utter pish. It's straight to the point. Open country, people are being jailed for tweets, you Stasi liar. Birthday cared pish, vacuous guff, Perrier Award. Which country? The UK isn't one, for your information. Brand genocide, we'll give that a link, yeah? Here's Lisa spouting colonial shit again. I'm just into the sort of like the general response to it, like, you know? Another useless, brainless Labour nutter. How patronising is this? Oh, fuck off. Second best joke of this year's Edinburgh Festival. This little Englander and Brexiteer wants you to believe that she cares about Scotland. She does not. Your hostile immigration policy would like a word with your bullshit. Fucking like, you know. I just think it's, you know, they're so parasitic, you know, they'll just jump on anything, like, you know. Anyway, Doreen's in there, Dameline's in there. Feck off and fund your own festival, Nandy, you patronising idiot. We don't need you or your government running anything in our country. Go on yourself, Doreen, get her tilt. Get her tilt. Paul Martin, get to fuck. Not your country. Quite right, cats. Get them all tilt. They're all a bunch of public pus parasites. Maybe Lisa wants to turn the whole Scotland into a theme park. I will be visiting Quinsters on the High Street shortly for a steak and haggis pie. I've never had one of them, but that sounds quite interesting. I might do a wee tour of my favourite food stops in the town. Like, maybe we'll have a vote on what you would like to see on What the X. It's 11:20. Nigel says he's sunbathing, then back home on Sunday night. Well, Nigel, enjoy your last few days of catching those rays in Spain. Let me just go to the intersphere here. Which one is that? Is that my favourite version of it? Probably, because it's got 1.4 million views. I hate this. I hate it when it gives you these adverts. Take your adverts and get to Musselburgh High Street. This is twice now we've had some reference to Musselburgh and Musselburgh High Street. Oh, it's in, oh, sorry, I see. Right, this place is in Musselburgh High Street. Okay, right. Listen, folk have dropped off. I'm not particularly surprised. It's been a bit of a bizarre morning this morning. There was no set agenda. We've never really had a set agenda as such, have we? But why is this doing this to me? We've never had a set agenda as such yet, and I don't intend in particularly starting the habit of having one. But there are certain things that I will be looking to focus on more specifically as we move into the next week of What the X, which will, if I'm correct, be the 4th week of What the X. Right, so on that note, I would like to wish you all the very best of the rest of your Friday that you're having. I've enjoyed seeing you all today. There's been quite a lot of numbers, which is tryouts for the human race. Tryouts is tonight, is it, in London? Is that where you're off to? Is Mikey to tryouts? Okay, so tryouts. There's some. I was going to play Essentia music. A Duplicity. Duplicity have got a. Let me see if I can find it. I'll tell you what. Let me look here. Let me have a look here. Oh, I found it. Is it this one? Who's on it? Have we got? I want to check. I'm going to check it and. You need to bear with me. I'm going to give this a proper review. Our techno custodians. Cheers, Bob. Enjoyed it. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Thank you, Up and Yon. Have a good weekend. I'm going to play it with what I was going to play it with, and I'm going to return to my techno foray next week. But I hope you have a great one in the Big Smoke, Miguel. And I'll play it with one of my favourite tracks ever. It's an all-time classic. It's Tenor Saw, it's Golden Hen, and Ticka Ticka Talk. She's my golden hen. Away oho, ale oho, ale oho. See you later, folks.
Ticka ticka tock, my golden hen, my golden hen. Ticka ticka tock, my golden hen. Ticka ticka tock, my golden hen. She lay next for the gentleman, sometime 9 and sometime 10. Oh, and whenever she lay, she make an alarm. Cock, 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 me lay-o, lay-o, whoa, lay-o, whoa, whoa. Searching for morning from a golden hen. Got a little girl at my home. She wake up this morning. She didn't eat no breakfast, no. She wake up this morning, she no eat no breakfast. She leave out my home and she faint in the car. She give my neighborhood lots of remarks, lots of remarks. She give them the pack. Lord God, no. Hey, little girl, don't be like a rolling calf. Oh, before the wind, you're gonna be like a shaft. If you leave like a rolling calf, no, don't leave like a rolling calf, no. Tick-a-tock-a-tock, my golden name. She lay next for the gentleman. Sometime 9 and sometime 10. Whoa, whenever she lay, Lord, she make an alarm. Cock, 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 lay-o, 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 whoa, lay-o, whoa. But I'm in searching for morning, from a golden end. Whoa, but I'm in searching for morning, morning, from a golden end. Because she's my best friend. Because she's my best friend. Searching for morning, morning. Because she's my best friend. Whoa, whoa. Tick-a-tick-a-tock, my golden end. Come on back, come on back. Tick-a-tick-a-tock, my golden end. Come on back, back, come on back. Whoa, I beg you please come on back, girl. So, tick-a-tick-a-tock, my golden end. She lay next for the gentleman. Sometime 9 and sometime 10. Whoa, and whenever she lay, she make an alarm. Cock, 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 lay-o, 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 whoa, lay-o, whoa. Girl, you know that I love you badly. I wouldn't like it end up sadly. Girl, you know that I love you badly. I wouldn't like it end up sadly. Girl, come home, girl, come home. Don't be a runaround. Don't be a runaround. Please come home. Tick-a-tick-a-tock, my golden end. She lay next for the gentleman. Sometime 9, sometime 10. Whoa, whenever she lay,